And we are rolling. Hey everybody, Wolfgang here. Welcome to episode 3 of Figure It Out Later. Um, I really need to figure out a scheduling system for this because all my episodes have been pretty sporadic. I wanted to do one earlier this week. I was thinking of doing one today's Saturday. I was thinking of doing one Thursday. I think I released my last one Wednesday or Thursday last week. I don't know, but yeah, it's been a weird week for me, just mentally, emotionally, a lot of anxiety. Awkward silence. I don't know where to go from there. Yeah, don't want to delve too much into it. Just stress from work, stress with school. What can you do? Trying to deal with it. Trying to deal with it. I've got some great friends, and my girlfriend's been helping me a lot with it, and my parents have always been there to help me. So there's that. um, and also this week was Friday was my best friend Kirk's. No, not Friday. It was Thursday was my best friend Kirk's birthday. And he passed away summer of 2019. So just thinking about stuff with him, which is, I think, going to be the theme of tonight's episode. Mainly music related, but it's going to be a lot of stuff centered around Kirk. Frankie Z, as I called him. His middle name is Francis. Last name starts with Z. So that's what I was calling him for a few years. Excuse me. Me and him met. We took. I was taking guitar lessons, and he was taking drum lessons at the same music academy near us. And they had this program called Making the Band Camp, and where they pair you up with a bunch of people who play different instruments. It's like, okay, we're gonna like kind of meld together. You get 2 weeks to rehearse 4 songs, and then you're gonna perform live at the very end, and we're gonna see who did the best. It's like battle of the bands, but it's a bunch of people you don't know. And yeah, we did not know each other, and we were both very shy people when everything started, and didn't talk too much at first. And then, like, after the whole making the band camp thing ended, we still kept in contact. We're just like, no, let's keep going. And so I was 14, and we were in a bunch of different iterations of our band and some other like side projects from 2009 to 2013. And we just became best friends, and fuck, I miss him, man. I really miss him. Shut up, computer. Sorry. So where was I going with this? Yeah, so music was a big part of our friendship because, well, that's how we met. So we went to a lot of concerts together. So I kind of want to talk a bunch of concert stories tonight. So first concert we went to was actually AC/DC with my parents. And Kirk at a concert is funny. Kirk was really, really into music. And how he learned to play drums is he kind of got the fundamentals down of it. And then he just did everything by ear, which is something foreign to me because I have to like read out the music, read out the tabs because I can't read music. I'm not a good musician. I'm not. But he always honed in by ear, and he could play whatever he heard. He can listen to it twice and then just play it perfectly. And at concerts, like everyone else, like me included, me, my parents, everyone else in the crowd was just going nuts and singing and bobbing our heads along, and he's just sitting there like just listening. Just listening. He's not moving or anything. He's just watching them and listening and honing in on every different part of the show. And we were at AC/DC's first concert we went to, and It's actually a little funny because, like I said, we were very shy, very quiet. I was more charismatic of the two of us at the time, and he was just very quiet and like he was shy around my parents. So going up to the show, like my parents were like trying to get him to talk and like kind of get some stuff out of him, and he was like, "Oh yeah," and just like kind of giving one word answers here and there. And so we're at the show and we're all jumping around. We're listening to ACDC. Great show. It was a great show. And then after the show, it's like midnight, 1 in the morning. We're coming from DC back home. It's about an hour drive. And we're all kind of tired now from just like the show. And to keep himself awake, Kirk is just talking a mile a minute, just won't stop talking. And my dad's like, God, we couldn't get you to talk. Now we can't get you to shut up. Oh my God. uh, it was a fun night. There's another festival that I don't know if it's still going on because we haven't gone in a really long time, but we used to go for the first few years it was around, called M3 Festival, where it was a bunch of 80s rock bands, mainly like the hair metal bands or the glam rock bands. One of the bigger names, because it was in Maryland, one of the bigger names was a band called Kix, Kix. I don't know if I talked about them last episode. Maybe I did. And they're a huge 80s band from Maryland. And Baltimore is like their hometown. That's where they're from Hagerstown, Maryland, but Baltimore is where the scene was. So that's where they did all of like their music and stuff. And we were in Columbia, Maryland. I guess Columbia's fairly close to Baltimore. Fuck it, whatever. So the Kix was the big draw of that, and me and my dad were like, "Oh, Kirk, you need to come with us to the show. You're gonna love Kix live. They have a great show." And he ended up falling in love with Kix. He went to a lot of the concerts that we went to go see Kix. Me and my parents have seen Kix. I've seen Kix 10 times live. My parents were seeing them back in the 80s and the 90s and stuff. So, well, before I was born, they saw them plenty of times. Then when I was getting old enough to go to concerts, and it's like, oh wow, they're coming back around, and we would go and see them. But they've had like Cinderella, Rat, Winger, White Shark, Faster Pussycat. They had 38 Special there. They've had some newer bands like Blackstone Cherry there. But yeah, that's kind of the feel. Oh, the lead singer of Warrant was there. Warrant was there one year. Yeah, all around, just a lot of like that genre of music together. I'm drinking apple juice, by the way. I was thinking of mixing some bourbon in with it, because I hope that didn't get picked up on camera. That was my foot scraping against my desk. Bourbon and apple juice surprisingly goes well together. Person from work was telling me about that, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. I don't know. And I went home and tried it, and it's now like my favorite cocktail. But I'm kind of keeping it slow for tonight. So anyway, we go to M3, and we're just kind of like walking around. We're like looking at all like the merch booths and stuff, and the tents, and like going. There were two different stages. There's the main stage, which was in the pavilion of Merriweather Post Pavilion, and then there was another one on the other side at the top of the hill. So we would kind of go back and forth between like see what bands are playing, what was going on like the different tents and stuff, because they had like, it was kind of like Warped Tour but with only 2 stages, but a lot of like merch tents and booths and stuff. So we were kind of going around all that, and then we're like, oh, we're kind of hungry, and we could use a drink. And my dad goes and buys Kirk a Mountain Dew. Or no, we went in line and Kirk bought a Mountain Dew. It was like this giant thing. And he's holding it, and we were just kind of standing off to the side of the walkway, and we're talking about some stuff. And then behind him, I see this guy, like, drunk as hell, just, like, quickly, like, staggering like he was trying to run away from a security guard, and he was like staggering, and he turns around and starts stumbling, and then he runs right into Kirk. I had a guitar pick I was fiddling with my hand. That was that. I keep getting sidetracked. I'm sorry. I have like undiagnosed ADHD or something. Anyway, he he just slams into the back of Kirk. I see it in the last split second. I didn't even get a chance to go, Kirk, watch out. I just went and then jumped out of the way. And Kirk's just watching me like, what are you doing? So, guy lands on Kirk. Kirk gets up real fast. Dude scraped open his head on the sidewalk. And the security guards like kind of get his hand behind her back and like zip tie his hands behind his back and like are getting him out. And we're like, holy shit. And then we look at Kirk. Kirk, are you okay? And he goes, yeah, I'm fine, but I lost my soda. So security guards went in and like grabbed him another soda because of that. But a lot of the shows, my parents are awesome because they've taken me to like a lot of concerts that I was going to growing up, and they kind of shaped my musical taste. And we were always sure to make sure that Kirk was included. We've seen Paramore live together. We've seen AFI. We saw Avenged Sevenfold live. That was a lot of fun. Avenged Sevenfold was his favorite band. The three bands that we kind of like bonded over were Avenged Sevenfold, Iron Maiden, and 3 Days Grace. That last one's a little out of there, but come on. Like compared to the other two, it's a little out there, but whatever. So, we've seen 3 Days Grace live 3 times together, I think. Three or four times we saw them together live. And I remember one time it was at Baltimore Soundstage, and my dad's best friend knew the guy who was co-owning Baltimore Soundstage at the time, and like hit him up and goes, hey, my best friend is bringing his family in there for a concert to see 3 Days Grace. Could you like kind of help him out a little bit? And got us VIP access for free, which was awesome. So we were supposed to meet the band before the show, and the singer Adam, former singer now, he left the band, but Adam was sick. He had to go to an urgent care and get like treated for something. So we were like kind of waiting around for like an hour, and we're like, okay, sorry, Adam's sick. We're gonna do the meet and greet after the show. So we get right up on the front rail before the rest of general admission came in. And we were sitting there for like an hour, and then finally they came on stage. Adam came out. If he was sick, he did not show it. He just came out and just belted out and sang perfectly. And at that show, me and Kirk being on the front rail, 3 Days Grace's song Pain, the bridge part where it's going back and forth like, I know, and then you know. He comes down, leans right in front of me and Kirk, and puts the mic right in my face, back and forth, so we're going back and forth on the I know thing. It was awesome. And he was like standing right there just like, did that just happen? We saw Iron Maiden live 3 times together. I was trying to remember if he came to the 3rd time that we saw Iron Maiden. I think he was there for it. Pretty sure. But the first time we saw them, this is a fun story because I wanted to get into some concert stories too with this episode. First time we saw Iron Maiden was their last show on their American tour. It was at Jiffy Lube Live, or what used to be Nissan Pavilion, that's down in Virginia. It was the last date of the tour, and Dream Theater was opening for them. And Iron Maiden puts on one hell of a show. They are fucking phenomenal live. Dream Theater, I honestly don't know a lot of Dream Theater songs. I'd never like kind of went back and delved into their music. Like, I know a handful here and there, but they put on an amazing show. And I know of the drummer Mike Portnoy because of his work with me and Kirk's other favorite band, Avenged Sevenfold. So that show, Mike Portnoy drumming for Dream Theater on the last date of the Iron Maiden US tour. That was his very last show with Dream Theater, and me and Kirk got to see that. So that's really cool. Um, with Adam singing for 3 Days Grace, and I got to sing with him during Pain. That was the last. I'm pretty sure that was the last tour, or one of the last tours that Adam was in the band still. We have a lot of laughs under our belt. Me and my parents have a lot of laughs under our belt. Kirk was there to see a few of them. Anyway, so second time we saw Iron Maiden, they were playing. Oh shit! My hair is sticking up all over the place. Oh, okay, intermission time. My hair. I'm gonna be weird about that. Fuck it, whatever. Have the headband on to keep it out of my face because I don't feel like wearing a hat. Whatever. ADHD strikes again. So, second time we went to see Iron Maiden, they were doing a world tour and they were only playing 2 dates in America. Tampa Bay and Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And it ended up being on our spring break in high school. And so my parents, me, Kirk, and the singer of our band all got together and went down to see Iron Maiden on spring break in Tampa Bay. That was so much fun. They had this band, Black Tide, open for them. They were impressive. Excuse me. So, and the trip down to Tampa was hilarious because we also stopped in Georgia, about an hour south of Savannah, is where my aunt and uncle live. And my uncle loves Iron Maiden too, so he wanted to come with us. So we were driving from Maryland to Georgia, and as we're going through North Carolina, there was like a bunch of things that were happening. Where it's like, oh no, I don't know if we're gonna make the trip. Like, our dog got sick, and we were just like, oh no, is he gonna be okay? And he ended up being fine. And our neighbors were like, hey, we watch the dog. If there's anything that happens, we know what to do, and we'll let you know. But we're gonna handle it. We don't want you to miss your vacation. Okay. My uncle got into a bad accident, and we're like, oh no, we're gonna have to stay. We're gonna have to stay up here and make sure like everybody's okay. And my aunt was like, no, we can handle this. You guys go. And we're like, are you sure? Yeah, no, go on the trip. You had this planned out. So on the drive down, we're going through North Carolina, and they had record number of tornadoes ripping through. And like we were in dead stop traffic on 95, and like 10 miles ahead of us there was a tornado just rolling through. 3 miles behind us there's another tornado that was just rolling through, and there was just hail being flung everywhere through the sky. You could just see debris from trees and small buildings and trailer parks, like just all over the place. And we had to go. All the traffic was redirected off of 95, off this little back road through the boonies of North Carolina, and we all lost cell service on this road. And my dad just turned to my mom and goes, damn, God does not want us going to this show or something. Next thing you know, he's going to send us a flat tire. And like before he finished saying that, my mom just snapped on and just, do not say that. It was it was a lot of fun, but we made it. We made it down to my aunt and uncle who lived in Georgia. We made it down to their house, spent the night. We were supposed to get there at like 7 or 8 at night. We didn't get there till like 1 in the morning. So Finally made it. Spent the night. Next morning, head on out. We go to Tampa. Go to the show. Phenomenal show. Come back up the road. We stop at Myrtle Beach for a couple days, then head home again. I'm trying to think of some other shows we went to. Kirk's dad took us to see Avenged Sevenfold. Stone Sour was with them. This relates back to the Dream Theater thing. So Mike Portnoy left Dream Theater. Backtrack a little bit more. The original drummer for Avenged Sevenfold, Jimmy the Rev Sullivan, he died, and Mike Portnoy, they were like working on an album which became their album Nightmare. Mike Portnoy came in and helped them finish the drums and all the songs and stuff, because Mike Portnoy was one of the Rev's biggest influences, and he's like, hey guys, I'll come in and help. So he helps them do it and knew they were going to be going on a big tour afterwards, and he told the guys in Dream Theater, like, hey, I'm going to leave the band because the guys in Avenged need me. I'm sorry, but I'm joining them. And so they're like, oh, okay. And then they kind of finish the tour, and they're like, and goes to Avenged Sevenfold's like, hey guys, I'm here. And they're like, Mike, we appreciate all the help you gave us, but we're going to go with someone a little younger, kind of in our age group. And they hired, I don't even remember his name. And he's like, okay, cool. I'm just going to go back to Dream Theater. Goes back to Dream Theater, who was holding tryouts for a new drummer, and they found this music teacher from Berkeley, I think, the Berkeley College of Music in Boston. And Dream Theater is one of those bands that like college professors will teach a full semester on because of like their ingenuity. So so he gets back over there, and a professor from Berkeley tried out for the band, and they're like, dude, you're in. He quit his job. He just like straight up quit his job and is like, hey, fuck y'all, I'm going to Dream Theater. So he dropped everything to join the band, and Mike Portnoy comes back and he goes, hey guys, I'm back. And they're like, Mike, this guy gave up his whole life to be in the band. We can't just tell him no. So I guess Mike kind of screwed himself over a little bit, but hey, he's got a new band going on, so he's doing well for himself. We saw Avenged Sevenfold on their Nightmare tour, and that was phenomenal. Stone Sour opened for them. Hollywood Undead opened for them. They were kind of disappointing, in all honesty, but that was in the early days when they were all fucked up on drugs. Let's think. God, I can't think. I didn't write down any notes for this one. I was just kind of thinking off the top of my head of all the concerts we went to. We saw Journey. That was really cool. And we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame museum after that. That was a lot of fun. Why am I blanking? All right. I guess I should have wrote down notes. I should have wrote down all the concerts that we went to together. He's seen Papa Roach with me a bunch of times, and Papa Roach, one of my favorite bands. I'm gonna do a whole episode on like favorite bands, favorite albums, favorite live performances, stuff like that. Oh, I took him to see Nickelback with me one time because 3 Days Grace was opening, and he's just like, oh no, I don't like Nickelback. And it's because everyone hated Nickelback in that time period. Like they were the band to hate. For some reason, they are still the band to hate. I don't know why. I thought the joke kind of died. I thought the meme was dead. But whatever. So he enjoyed it. I've seen Nickelback live 3 times, and they had some kick-ass opening bands with them. First time I saw them, it was Saving Abel, Papa Roach, Hinder opening. Second time was Sick Puppies, Shinedown, Breaking Benjamin. And that was the last tour they did before Breaking Benjamin broke up back in 2009, 2010. Second time was Buckcherry, 3 Days Grace. But Nickelback puts on one of the best live performances I've ever seen. They go 3.5 hours of just playing their hits, playing new material from whatever album they're promoting, and they just party, man. They're like shooting beer out into the crowd. They're like making jokes all day on stage. They put it on like a projector behind them that just kind of shows the crowd and like kind of puts up like inside jokes that everybody's in on if you're a fan of them. And they poke fun of themselves. Like they get the whole like, yeah, we're the most hated band, whatever. And Foo Oh, we saw Foo Fighters together. That was a show to remember. Foo Fighters, they also did a 3.5 hour long show. They did 24 songs. And like most of the songs they turned into like they added like an extra 5 minutes of just jamming. It was insane. Um excuse me, God. One of the moments I really remember from the show was during Monkey Wrench, right before the bridge part. They're just going all in, and then all of a sudden they just kind of like quiet down and they're just kind of like gently strumming, no distortion on the guitars, and just like kind of gently strumming the palm muting, strumming the chords, and the drummer's like kind of quietly playing, and it's going on for about like 30 seconds to a minute, and then Dave Grohl just comes out of the darkness, and like the lights kind of went down a little bit, but they were still kind of like flashing here and there, and then Dave Grohl comes up to the mic and goes, "All right, I know this is the part where I'm supposed to like scream my balls off." The whole crowd goes nuts. He goes, "But I want to change. I want to do something a little different here. Hey, can we drop the lights?" And then it shows the drummer Taylor Hawkins. He's like playing. He's like, "Fuck." So the lights go out, and they're just jamming. Like all the guitars are just kind of like noodling in the dark along to like strumming the song. A couple fills here and there, but it's like all just very chill, just jam session in the dark. Then it goes quiet. Spotlight on Dave Grohl, and he goes into the bridge part of Monkey Wrench. I'm not going to attempt trying to sing it, but whatever. You know the part if you know the song. And then the whole band just erupts behind him. They are a band that puts on a really good fucking show. Who else have we seen live? He's been to Kicks a lot with me, and I know I said last show my mom grew up with their sound guy. He got me and Kirk into the sound booth a few times. We met the drummer of another Maryland band that got really big off of a hit of a cover they did. They did "Man of Constant Sorrow." What was the name? Charm City Devils. Charm City Devils. They did a cover of "Man of Constant Sorrow." Made it like a really hard rock sounding song. Really good. And he was there just chilling. And he kind of looks at us and goes, "Whose kids are you?" We're like, "Oh no, we're just friends." He's like, "Oh, okay." And he hands me like a card for like an upcoming show. He was cool though. So, um, and I think I might keep this episode a little bit shorter. I know my last one I went almost 50 minutes. We're almost at the half-hour mark here on this one. Because I wanted to talk about Kirk a little bit and kind of get my head back in a better headspace a little bit. And I think this helped a little bit. Little bit. I just keep saying that, whatever. So, next episode, I think I'm definitely going to write down notes, kind of help me talk better. Some good talking points. And talk about, like, favorite bands, favorite moments at live shows, favorite albums. Do a bigger deep dive into music. And I'm sure I'll start thinking more stories with Kirk and get those written down too. Yeah, that's it. I'm not sure how to end this. Feeling a little awkward there. But hey, thanks for tuning in to episode 3 of Figure It Out Later. So I'll see you for the next round.